Alright, we're just getting ready to reinstall this intake now. So we're just going to go ahead and first thing get our vacuum lines, hoses connected. Okay, and you'll remember the first thing, or actually the last thing we had to do is disconnect these hard to get to vacuum hoses, and I've got labeled P right there, and I've also got that one there. So it's one of those coming down, and that one that's labeled P we're going to be connecting right there first. Okay, the next one right here with this orange elbow, that right there's got to go right in behind that hose there and connect on to that elbow. Okay, and on top of putting your vacuum hoses back on, which is kind of difficult to get to, you got to be careful. This copper piece of tube goes in this hole here. You got to be careful not to damage that. Alright, now once we've got those, there's these little plastic nubs. You can see one down there. There's one on both sides, and those actually feed into a couple of these little slots, like you can see right there, to kind of locate this thing. Okay, and you'll know if you've got it right because it won't go otherwise. I said there's one more little connection right here. I got labeled K. It's a little vacuum. We're going to go ahead and just connect that one now. And with it set, we're just going to start putting these bolts back in. I'm just going to start in the center and put some Loctite. And so we'll just start in the center there and just start putting these bolts back in here. Now I'm just using a long extension here, just kind of feeding these in. And don't forget your bolt that's on the very bottom here. We're now just putting back our two bolts that go into our throttle housing here. Okay, now we're just going to tighten these to 216 inch-pounds. I think it calls for 18 to 25 foot-pounds. So we're just going to tighten all these, including the throttle housing there, 216 inch-pounds. Just going to be working from the middle and kind of working my way out. Okay, so we've got everything labeled, so we're just going to be reconnecting everything. And we're just going to start on this left side here, and we'll be putting these tabs back in where they go. And so if you label, it's going to be fairly easy. If not, then you may get them mixed up. But we're just going to work along this top here, connect this to this, and this is going to connect right back here like so. So it should be looking something like this. And let's see, I can get this tape off here. And that's going to reconnect right there. And this kind of goes in behind that, like that. Okay, so, and we're just going to work our way over here. This one is going to reconnect to the top of this. Just like that. And then that just kind of loops, goes right back into there. And this, of course, is going to connect on to your throttle housing here. And looks like I may have to work on that. I may have gotten bent just a little bit. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. We've got another one down here. as we come down. It's going to reconnect here. Said labeling just makes it so much easier, so we don't have to do any guesswork. And looks like I've got one that I may have forgotten. I believe it goes right here, just through the process of elimination. Okay, so now we this harness, like I said, I'm going to be swapping this over, so I've got to get my transmission moved over to here. But looks like we've pretty much got the most of everything. There's going to be a few more wire connections over here. We had a connection going right there, but I have to finish moving my harness. And let's see, we've got the vacuums. We've got one more right back here. Let me move this. I can show you right down in there. That's where this one goes. And actually I need to go underneath. Looks like I may need to go underneath that injector to get it to hook down, but that one goes right there. And we pretty much got this all finished up. I went ahead and I reinstalled our dipstick. Remember, there's a bolt that goes in the bracket here, and then there's a small one that goes in right here. There's also a wire going to this alternator here that's going to clip in right here where you see I've got this labeled. And then there's also a connector right here coming off this harness. It goes in this intake right here. And said we've got a connection that's going to go right here. We'll go ahead and get that reconnected. Now some of this I can do later. And this one here is a little bit messed up, so I'm going to have to, there we go. So we've pretty much got everything. We've got a vacuum hose that's going to come around over here, I believe, and connect to that. Okay, and this right here is just this little red connection that clips onto there like that. Okay, on this vacuum hose up here, I was having trouble with it. It actually goes in under behind these injectors, and it's actually got a little clip down there that it clips into. It was just one of those things that I hadn't labeled, and then it clips right here as well. Okay, now the last connection I haven't made for this is just this little tube that's running from here. Okay, and the only one that I haven't hooked up is just a hose that's a part of the transmission connection there. So, I mean, that pretty much is everything. That's how it looks when you have it back together. So there's just a lot of wires and various hoses and connections that you have to unhook just to be able to get it out of there. And it's not even real easy with it out of the vehicle. Like I said, as far as in the vehicle, I would remove as much of the front as I could to get in there and get to them, but they're definitely important. I mean, if they leak, you can suck in water, dirt, and everything else. So they're definitely important. So you know, it might be worth checking out if your vehicle's got a lot of miles on it. So that's going to conclude this video, and hopefully that can help somebody out. Thank you.